Okay, I'm Jake Ellenberg, and I'm going to talk to you guys about using failure to succeed. I'm a senior, majoring in public relations with a minor in history and English. A co-host of Geek Life on WVUA's 90.7 The Capstone, one of the greatest radio stations ever, by the way. If you haven't taken a listen, tune in. We're on 7 to 8 on Tuesdays. I'm also the CMO of the app Drunk Mode. Some of you may have it, most of you probably don't. Oh, wow. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, wow, I am messing up. Major public relations, CMO of Drunk Mode. I grew up in a small town called Geneva, Alabama. Graduated 70th in a very large class of roughly 80 students. We have about 4 red lights and our Walmart closes at 9. Some people didn't think that was surprising. Apparently a normal Walmart closes at 9, but I don't know, anyway. I graduated back in 2009, which is a really long time ago. I'm actually 25 years old now. Which is pretty old for a college senior these days. Kids are getting it done really quick. Some of the people are super smart. I'm not one of those people. That brings me to the next part. When my mother was 20 years old, she got some of the best news anyone could ever have, which is you have a baby on the way. And so she found out about me. And unfortunately, 4 months into said pregnancy, my father and one of his best friends, my biological father, decided they wanted to play a game that a lot of people play, and I'm guilty of playing it myself, and it's who's the least drunk to drive home? It's a terrible game. No one should ever play it, because that night there were no winners. But losing him and having me really drove her. She worked 2 jobs, and that determination really taught me the work ethic that I have today. So I have to say thanks, Mom. And this is an awesome photo, by the way. I just gotta stop and let you all know. That's little Jake in a suit. I looked really fly that day. It was a Christmas celebration. I actually had a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like little nose. It was awesome. Wow, I gotta quit doing that. I'm so sorry, guys. I breathe really heavy. I'm a big guy. I didn't take school very seriously, though. The work ethic that my mother had taught me was instilled in, I guess, hard work, and school just wasn't that to me. It just seemed like a waste of time most of the time, especially in high school. So after high school, like I said, graduating around 70-something out of 80, I went on to junior college and completely bombed my GPA. Like, we're talking like 1.2-ish, around there. So. If you know anything about GPAs, you know that's not necessarily the greatest number to have. This is the sad part of the story. I dropped out, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I eventually just became a full-time worker bee. What else do you do when you graduate besides try to get out of your parents' house? Or not graduate, drop out, sorry. It's a college dropout, Kanye West, by the way. The internet loves a good fail, though. This is something we all know. We just love watching people fail. It's a lot of fun. And I remember the first time that I fell. It sticks with me, and I remember it every day, actually. I was in the 4th grade, I believe, and I tried to lie on a spelling test. See, we had to have both signatures, one from the teacher, one from a parent. And I had failed this after trying so hard, studied all week, still came up short, and was terrified, because I had to have my mother sign it. And nothing's scarier than a single mother. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They're really hard on you, but they want the most from you. So I stole a red pen from my teacher's desk. One of the first things I stole besides Pokemon cards. And retook the test, throwing away the old test. My mother soon realized this was not the teacher's signature. And I'd given myself a B-. Spelling's never been one of my strong points, it still isn't, even as a PR major, which is awful. But I was caught. I got caught in this lie, and I was punished. But this lie taught me one thing, and this failure taught me one thing, And that's if you're gonna lie, you gotta lie well. Seriously. Well, after dropping out, life was at an all-time low, but it got better. I worked a couple of odd jobs. Oh, wow. Worked a couple of odd jobs after dropping out. Worked at Walmart as a cart pusher, one of the few that had a high school diploma, by the way. I found out I was actually the only one day that had a high school diploma. And when I went to the manager and asked if I could be moved inside or try to get a job, I guess it was equivalent, I was told no. So, but then finally, I got an amazing job at Mellow Mushroom. That's not me tossing dough, that's another really cool bearded guy. So, I wish it was me though. I missed that job, really do. It was an amazing job. And then from there, I met some really amazing people. Growing up in a small town, I never really got along with a lot of the folks that lived there. I know that sounds odd, but I never hunted, I never fished, I never did anything that's typical of small town life. And so I always kind of felt at odds until I finally got this job with these people that were a lot like me. Met these amazing friends. These over here, as you can tell, most of my friends have beards. This right here, I was called Baby Beard. That's what Deborah used to call me because I couldn't grow a small one. And I'm half Jewish, so I can't grow hair like right here in the middle either. It's really weird. It's like I can never have a Hitler stash. Or a Charlie Chaplin, if you're a comedian. And then I met this wonderful lady right here, Jessica, that gave me the intro. And I've been in love with her for about 4 years or so now. So continuity, man. You really stability will change your life. So I met these amazing people, this amazing girl, and I decided I wanted more. I wanted to do more with my life. And while working at Mellow Mushroom was amazing, and it was a great job that paid me pretty well, I would still wanted to go back to school. So I worked this job full-time, refinanced the car that I had bought, even used my tax return from the previous year to pay for college classes at the junior college that I'd already dropped out of. And retook those classes and actually did pretty well, and eventually got into this amazing university. A dream that I'd had since the first time I watched Shula lose to Mississippi State. Yeah, that was the first game. It's not fun, but Nick Saban's done an amazing job, so. And that brings me to drunk mode. When I first came to UA, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I probably changed my major about 4 times, if I had to guess. That's probably why I'm a 25-year-old senior. Anyway, within a first semester of being here, Jessica had actually got an email campaign sent out through the app Drunk Mode, and I decided, I want to work for this company. I've got to do something for this company. I think it's going to do well. So I sent them a tweet, actually. Which sounds crazy, but you can do that. Just tweet companies. You'd be surprised, they actually read those things. I know I do. And just to tell you guys a little bit about Drunk Mode, this is the app that lets you block drunk dialing. You select certain contacts and we block you from calling them for a certain amount of time. It also retracts your night with breadcrumbs in case you lost a wallet, keys, anything like that, so you can retrace the steps of the night before. We also allow you to track your friends in case you have one of those that just tends to run away whenever they've had a little too much. We have 2 more upcoming features. Panic Button, brought to you by Fabrics Integration, which is from Boulder, Colorado. And they're a great company, by the way. The Panic Button's gonna be really, really revolutionary, I think, anyway. Not to hype it up too much as a PR guy, but just the fact that users can feel more safe. I think that's the whole point of it anyway. And then hotspots, which eventually will let you know where the party's at eventually, hopefully, if more people download it. So everybody download it anyway. But I remember at the beginning, I thought Drunk Mode was this huge company. So I was super excited when they emailed me back saying I could work for them. Come to find out it was one guy. It was Joshua Anton, who was actually probably one of the smartest men I've ever met in my life. He got me to work for free, and that's something that a lot of people can't say they've ever done. I remember literally Googling how to write a press pitch, because I had yet to learn it here anyway. I was still in like comp English or something, I don't know, whatever, one of those crazy classes they make us take for no reason. But I Googled how to write a press release and would just take things from other people that they had written and made it all into awesome press release that got us into a lot of really cool news. Like MTV, it's actually been a year this week that we landed in MTV, Huffington Post, USA Today, and I believe that is Daily Mail in the UK. That's the second largest circulating print media in the United Kingdom, by the way, and it's Drunk Mode right there. So that was a huge day for me because I was just a sophomore in public relations and got an email back from the second largest publication in the UK. So it was amazing. But even Drunk Mode went trending a lot of times around spring break, by the way. I wonder why that is. I got ahead of myself a lot, actually. So I helped Drunk Mode triple its user base and got all this amazing press. And it was all because I just decided that I wanted to do more. And I went out and I did it. I taught myself how to write these press releases and taught myself how to talk to journalists on the phone. Like, we were literally tweeting hundreds of drunk people a day, which can be very tedious, by the way. I don't know if you've ever been on Twitter and just looked up drunk. It is just not fun. There's some crazy stuff going on. But anyway, we went from 25,000 users a year ago when I started to 1 million today. We hit 1 million users probably about last week, so we're probably a little over 1 million now. So it was pretty incredible. And let's see. I did this while going to class full-time also. I was taking 15 hours, and I remember I failed Gazenbach's APR 101 class. If you know who Dr. Gazenbach is, you probably know that that's not the easiest class in the world, unless you're a super genius. And I failed it, because it was at a primo time, by the way. If you've ever wondered, when's a really good time to pitch press? It's about 9:30 in the morning. I believe it's when everyone gets into work, and they open their computers, and they say, I'm just gonna screw around on my phone for about 30 minutes. And then they start their day. So I then retook Gazenbach's class actually the very next semester and made a B in it. Because by that time, we had interns at Drunk Mode, so it was really awesome. I was like, hey, can you guys tweet and stuff? I'm gonna actually go to class today. So it gets better. Yeah, it's a lot of hard work, but it does get better. In 4 years, just 4 years, I went from a college dropout working at Walmart to being on this stage tonight, being able to share my story and tell you guys that you use your failures to succeed, and you'll succeed. I mean, it sounds really simple and a little cliche almost, but it's not. If you take the failures that you've had in your life and you push them or use them to push yourself, I mean, success is there. It's waiting for you. This is one of my favorite quotes. Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no less of enthusiasm. So no loss of enthusiasm. And I think that's a very important thing to take away from Mr. Winston Churchill. I'm not sure what he did. I just Googled success quotes. So that's the first thing I did. But what it means to me, and I'm sure whoever it was in Detroit, or whoever Winston Churchill said this to, I'm just kidding. But it's keeping that enthusiasm. It's knowing that you failed, but not saying, nah, I failed, time to give up. Because that's just not what you need to do. Not to sound too much like Donald Trump, I guess. Just don't do it, just do good. But the future looks good. Like I said, in 4 years, I went from failing to what I would consider almost on the road to success. And I guess one of the biggest things I'd like to let you guys know is that dropping out is not the end. Losing your job is not the end. It's only the end whenever you let it become the end. And that's about it. It's only the end whenever you let it